If the judge decision is to be followed, we will have chaos in this country.
The past 3 weeks have been rough for the government in relation to 2 court cases involving the Mohammeds. First, Nazar Mohamed and his son Azruddin Mohamed were granted bail in their extradition case on October 31, 2025. Then last week, another court ruled in favor of Azruddin Mohamed, and that's in the case brought against Azruddin by the Guyana Revenue Authority, the GRA. You're watching the Final Takeaway podcast. Thank you for joining us.
Never stop, don't get it if I want it. Gotta make to myself a promise. I won't quit, keep going till I got it. I won't give up till I'm on top.
As the GRA versus Azruddin Mohamed back tax battle continues, the government is sounding off about the recent High Court judgment. We'll explain what happened in Round 1 and what to expect in Round 2. In Round 1, High Court Judge Gino Persaud blocked the GRA's attempt to obtain 421 million Guyana dollars in fresh or additional taxes from Mohamed, which GRA says are owed on a Lamborghini and 2 other luxury vehicles that were imported into the country within the past 7 years. According to the court, the GRA is legally barred from reassessing taxes on the cars. Not only that, the court says imposing new or additional taxes on Mohamed years after the fact is arbitrary, unreasonable, unfair, and unlawful. It's totally illegal to do that. The total outstanding sum again that is owed by Mohamed is a whopping 421 million Guyana dollars. Losing to the Mohamed obviously has GRA and the government fuming right now. Not only does the Revenue Collection Agency disagree with the ruling, but blasted the court for not considering the tax fraud allegation involved here, which GRA says is at the heart of this case. So GRA has 2 main arguments. The first thing is, GRA is saying that the court's ruling that it has no power to reassess taxes on Mohammed's vehicle imports is inconsistent with Guyana's tax laws. Number 2, GRA claims it found evidence of tax fraud by Mohamed, and therefore, this creates a superseding event and a crucial factor which the court should have focused on when making its decision. Both Attorney General Anil Nandlall and Guyanese lawyer Sanjeev Datadin agree with the GRA's position. Of course, AG Nandlall is government-leaning. He is a part of the government, so naturally he's going to side with the GRA. However, this is not about taking sides. In this particular podcast, we are focusing on the law. And while laws are laws, there can be exceptions and judges can rule differently from what the law says. Does it make it right? Does it make it legal? That's what is going to be argued in the Court of Appeals. On that note, before we hear from Nandlall, I'm curious to know why Judge Persaud handed down a ruling that prima facie, on the face of it, seems to go against what the laws in the Customs Act says about the GRA's power to collect additional taxes after the fact. Let's bring in Nandlall.
Saturday, I offered a comment to Newsroom in which I respectfully disagreed with the judge. And I said that the judge fell into error, that the decision is wrong, that the post-clearance audit is a necessary power that the Guyana Revenue Authority, as every taxing authority, is a necessary power to go back and assess taxes.
The Attorney General argues that the law empowers the GRA to assess and reassess taxes long after imported goods are cleared from the port or wharf in Georgetown. We're told the GRA has up to 7 years to get you for taxes they believe you should have paid at the point of clearing your goods off the wharf. And if proof of fraud enters the mix, the AG says the Revenue Authority has a legal right to go after you and get you for the right amount of taxes that you should have paid. And Azruddin Mohamed is not an exception. He is not above this law. Therefore, the AG says What Judge Gino Persaud's ruling has done is to quote-unquote cripple the state's power to recover taxes. Maybe not totally, but in cases that turn on facts that are similar to the one involving Azruddin Mohamed. I'm going to side with the law in this case, not necessarily siding with the government, but with the law. Also, I'm curious about the evidence submitted by Mohamed's attorneys. Does Mohamed have evidence that contradicts what GRA is claiming? Also, we have to ask, what are the exceptions to the tax law, if any, that deals with the collection of additional import duties and taxes after you already cleared your goods from the wharf? Note that allowing the GRA to conduct a post-clearance audit or future verifications and to collect taxes owed after the fact is a key part of protecting the money that helps run the country. So yes, the law is consistent with common sense and the financial interest of the nation. Not only that, reassessing and adding more taxes and duties at a later date prevents individuals from ripping off GRA and the government through false declarations that slip past the system. So unless there's a loophole that I don't know about, I have to side with the law. I'm siding with the law on this one. If you fail to pay the right amount of taxes that you should have paid, intentionally or not, the GRA must be able to come back within the 7-year period or timeline that is allowed under the law to come back and collect those taxes from you. Point blank period. Unless, of course, you have convincing evidence to rebut what the GRA is claiming. Think about it this way. Imagine if GRA was barred by law from doing this. What would happen? What would happen? Endless goods could be backed up on the wharf and businesses could suffer losses due to the extensive time it would take for GRA or customs to conduct meticulous verifications to ensure that they're dotting all their I's and crossing all their T's before releasing your goods, your cars, or your barrels full of goodies sent by families from the US or elsewhere. Imagine how frustrating that would be for you who are expecting to receive your goods in a timely fashion. So essentially, that is the rationale behind the GRA having a system where it's going to take the information declared on the declaration forms when you're importing goods, and then it will take its time and do a more forensic audit, if you will. And if it spots inconsistencies, if it realizes that you paid less taxes than you should, then it should have the right, and it does have the right under the law, to come after you and get its money. The only thing I'm going to ask, I wonder if you overpay taxes and GRA conducts a forensic audit after the fact and realizes that you overpaid in duties and taxes, are you going to be issued with a check, a refund check? Are they, and do they issue a refund check to the amount that you overpay? Someone tell me in the comment section if you've had an experience where you receive a check out of the blues from GRA and it says, hey, we're sending you this check because you overpay on this particular import. So that in a nutshell is what this case is all about, and the GRA is not having it. Now here's the kicker. According to Nandlall, in anticipating the need for post-clearance audits, individuals importing goods into Guyana usually sign a declaration form agreeing to have the GRA do exactly what it has done in Mohamed's case, to go back and take a second look at the value of the items previously declared. So the logical question that follows is this: did Mohamed sign this GRA declaration form? Because if he did not sign such a form, this could be an example of that loophole I mentioned earlier, and then this could end up being an open and shut case. So let's find out from AG Nandlall. Did Azruddin Mohamed sign such a declaration form?
And this document is signed A. Mohamed, Azruddin Mohamed. This document was taken from the case file that was before Justice Gino Persaud, signed by Azruddin Mohamed, dated 2020, 17th April. I have it here.
Even though Mohamed won this round, the fight's not over. GRA is appealing the case and is hoping for a knockout in round 2 in the Court of Appeals. As far as Mohamed, who is now a new member of parliament, he could be turned over to the U.S. to face criminal charges in Florida.